I was a warden at Yellowstone National Park. We see deaths every year, from people getting lost on hikes to being mauled by bison. You can warn people, put up signs, do mandatory educational sessions. It doesn't matter. People will find ways to die. Some are a result of pure stupidity, some just plain bad luck. For those that don't know, Yellowstone contains 10,000 geothermal features with acidity ranging from neutral to basically battery acid. Hot potting is still pretty common, which is where you find a spring you can soak in like a sauna. It's not all unsafe if you know what you are doing and what springs are safe. Of course, people don't and bad things happen. We got a call by a group of hysterical teens that one of their friends had wandered off and falling through the thin crust that covered one of the very acidic springs. The mix of boiling hot water and acidity basically melts your skin. Luckily, this spring wasn't very deep and they were able to pull him out using some rope, but his skin from the waist down was pulled clean off. By the time we arrived, it looked like when you get pruned because you stay in the water too long, except now you pulled that skin right off. We passed things off to emergency services, and all expected him to pass. Surprisingly, we later learned after almost a year and a half in the burn unit, he made a full recovery.
I worked security at a high-end resort, the type where you pay $5,000 to $10,000 a night, and everything is included, and I mean everything. Caviar hand-delivered to your room at 3 in the morning. Last-minute excursions to an island on the lake with 3 staff waiting on you. Anything you want. We had a group of young men book an entire top floor for 3 weeks. I estimate they probably paid $75,000 per night. Their only request? No room service and cleaning. Now, normally this wouldn't be allowed, but for whatever reason, the hotel manager complied. On the day they checked out, our maids were dreading what they were going to find. Surprisingly, most were barely dirty. Maybe some plates or leftover socks, until they got to a group of 3 rooms in the middle of the floor. For whatever reason, and somehow unbeknownst to staff, they managed to convert 3 rooms into their own version of a suite by knocking down door-sized holes in the wall. There was no mess, no drywall or screws, just 3 perfectly cut-out holes. We never figured out why. They paid for the damage and just disappeared.
I joined the police force 3 years ago. Before you join, you are sent to a policy academy for 2 to 4 months. It's essentially a boot camp you do with other recruits to ensure you are up to their standard and fit for service. Our cohort had 35 officers. At the end, you have a graduation ceremony and are introduced as an official officer. You had those that take it very serious and some who just don't. Very few recruits failed, but we had one guy who was close. I don't even know how he got into the program, but let's just say he wasn't a star pupil. Eventually, he completed the course and actually
As a
ended
police
up in my
officer,
division.
you will never
We
stop being
didn't work
surprised
together
at how
much,
often
but
people
we
will
crossed
incriminate
paths
themselves.
from time to time.
Most of the time,
I
you
heard
just
from
stop
other
talking,
officers
and they will
that
give
his
you all
antics
the information you
continued,
need,
and he wasn't
or
liked
show
very
you in this
much.
case.
One day,
We got a
I get a
call to some
call
row
from my
houses.
commanding
There
officer
were about
saying they
7
needed
units
me to cover
together.
his shift
A
because he
fire
was
had
fired.
broken out and fully
I
destroyed
wasn't
the unit
surprised,
second
but
from
I
the
asked
end.
what he did to
It was only
finally
about
get let
6 or
go.
7 p.m., so
Turns
most
out he
people had
was showing
evacuated
off to some of
themselves,
his friends
or were coming back
and
from work to
accidentally
find
shot
fire
off
trucks
his
on their lawn.
police-issued
It
shotgun
would
in
be
his
a rough day
cruiser.
for most,
He
but
tried to
nothing
hide it by
catastrophic.
saying it went off by
I was
itself,
tasked with
but that
knocking on the
didn't
other
work
units
out
to
for
make sure
him.
everyone was out in case the building